If you struggle with shyness or social anxiety, check out our free No BS training course with actual useful advice you can do from home. None of that just get out there nonsense. The link is in the description below. For now, let's get to today's question.
Did you know anxiety disorders are the most common mental illness in the U.S., affecting 40 million adults in the United States age 18 and older, or 18.1% of the population every year? Anxiety disorders are highly treatable, yet only 36.9% of those suffering receive treatment. People with an anxiety disorder are 3 to 5 times more likely to go to the doctor and 6 times more likely to be hospitalized for psychiatric disorders than those who do not suffer from anxiety disorders. Anxiety disorders develop from a complex set of risk factors, including genetics, brain chemistry, personality, and life events. Anxiety and depression. It's not uncommon for someone with an anxiety disorder to also suffer from depression or vice versa. Nearly 1/2 of those diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with an anxiety disorder. Find out more about depression. Facts. Generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, affects 6.8 million adults, or 3.1% of the U.S. population, yet only 43.2% are receiving treatment. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men. GAD often co-occurs with major depression. Panic disorder, PD affects 6 million adults, or 2.7% of the U.S. population. Women are twice as likely to be affected as men. Social anxiety disorder, SAD, affects 15 million adults, or 6.8% of the U.S. population. SAD is equally common among men and women and typically begins around age 13. According to a 2007 ATA survey, 36% of people with social anxiety disorder report experiencing symptoms for 10 or more years before seeking help. Specific phobias. Specific phobias affect 19 million adults, or 8.7% of the U.S. population, but women are twice as likely to be affected as men. Symptoms typically begin in childhood. The average age of onset is 7 years old. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD, and post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, are closely related to anxiety disorders, which some may experience at the same time, along with depression. Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. OCD affects 2.2 million adults, or 1.0% of the U.S. population. OCD is equally common among men and women. The average age of onset is 19, with 25% of cases occurring by age 14. 1/3 of affected adults first experienced symptoms in childhood. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. PTSD affects 7.7 million adults, or 3.5% of the U.S. population. Women are more likely to be affected than men. Rape is the most likely trigger of PTSD. 65% of men and 45.9% of women who are raped will develop the disorder. Childhood sexual abuse is a strong predictor of lifetime likelihood for developing PTSD. Major depressive disorder, the leading cause of disability in the U.S. for ages 15 to 44.3. MDD affects more than 16.1 million American adults, or about 6.7% of the U.S. population age 18 and older in a given year. While major depressive disorder can develop at any age, the median age at onset is 32.5 years old, more prevalent in women than in men. Persistent depressive disorder, or PDD, formerly called dysthymia, is a form of depression that usually continues for at least 2 years. Affects approximately 1.5% of the U.S. population age 18 and older in a given year. About 3.3 million American adults. Only 61.7% of adults with MDD are receiving treatment. The average age of onset is 31 years old. Source: National Institute of Mental Health.